Hey Rusty Bob's channel subscribers. As you can see, I am sitting in this slick 1964 AMC Rambler of mine. A few niggly bits to get her ready for compliance here in NZ. And one of the big ones is the old instrument cluster, the gauges. I got no lights there, so they're gonna want that. Everything else is ready to go. It's kind of the last thing. So I'm gonna go and pull the gauge cluster out again. So back when it was in Canada, I had a similar problem. A few lights were out and stuff. And so there was actually, I had a replacement gauge cluster that the previous owner had picked up. And so I was able to kind of harvest light bulbs out of that one. So all the light bulbs I tested went back into this one. I think it's actually just the plug-in on the back might have come loose when I fiddled it in the last time. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out, and I'll get the old noodle around here to follow along. So in the Rambler here, this will be the same for any classic model. So this is a 770, but the 660, 770, the 440, they'll all have the same dash. This dash was standard, even the Ambassador of this year. It didn't change till 65, it was slightly different, but so what happens over the years of off and on, off and on, off and on, all the screws get lost. We did a T-bird. If you check out my Instagram page, that's at RustyBobs204, you'll see a yellow T-bird that we did, a 64 T-bird. We did a bunch of rust repairs on the floor. We sound deadened it. We fixed a bunch of rust holes in the body, and then we actually did a wrap on it. Took the vinyl roof off and cleaned that up and wrapped the roof. And we were joking that labor must have been super cheap in the 60s because it takes so bloody long to take apart an interior from a car of this era. There is screws and clips and like all of this gorgeous looking trim is just like hours to take it apart. But anyways, I digress. The only screwdrivers I did find for this episode today are ridiculously long. But that's good because then you can get further from your work. Basically, you've got a couple of screws up here. You'll have a couple of screws on that side of the column, on that side of the column. And then these knobs all come off, these guys. And there's a little screw on the side of here for these to come off. And then we're basically, I'll do that, come back to it, and we'll pull this bezel off, and then we can kind of finagle that thing out of there. So as you can see, so this gets quite, you pull it off, and this you can just kind of pull up out of the way, because those two bolts down at the end, you got to take the whole glove box apart to get at them. And then this here, the light pull out button is really difficult to get off. I didn't want to break it, so I just kind of finagle that all out enough to take this guy. So there's two bolts, or two long screws up here that hold the instrument cluster to this really brittle plastic shroud, and it has tabs on the bottom that tuck in on the bottom, so then it kind of fits in, and those bolts hold it up there. So you kind of have to get it up, off, tilt it, undo the speedo cable, and then the this light for the wiper side and this light for that side are these two loose plugins, and then there's a big round plug-in that plugs into here. And so my issue was previously this circuit here I had repaired, and it broke loose again, I guess last time when I was trying to get it in. So that's the ground for a bunch of different things. I'm not sure that actually is the problem. So I'm gonna bench test some of this stuff and see what else it might be, and we'll get back to you. So I have a spare gauge cluster, and so this was the damaged circuit board on the back, like this primitive 1964 circuits here. They went to the moon though. So I pulled the circuit board off of my spare one, because as you can see, the ground line here is in nice shape. And so I'm just transferring everything from the old one onto the new one onto the old one, and put everything back together. We'll throw it back in, see if we get some juice. So I got it all back together, and I've got this test line, real professional like, hooked up to my battery. So we got the green is to ground. So then I got these little alligator clippies, and when I go like, the light lights up. That one works. Try this other side here. Snip. Now, hold on, I gotta change. So this is the circuit here. No, there. That's the circuit that lights up the gauge lights. So not this one, because this is the ground, so I'm gonna get a direct short if I do that. And you can tell it's the ground because it's going to this light, and these ones, and that one over there, and so they'd all go on together if it wasn't. But it's the ground, so I'm gonna go off at this guy here. And they light up nicely. Nice and green like. And then I can go ahead and check the other ones I did already. So that works. So I traced it back, and combination of the ground up there on the lights, which I replaced the back printed circuit board, and then down on the bottom here in the driver's footwell where the circuits are up there, I tightened up the holders for the little bullet fuses, and tested that all, and so it looks like now we've got dash lights. That's pretty much all you get in the 60s for looking at your speedo. You're not really supposed to care about how fast you're going in the 60s, I guess. But yeah, so that all works. You can't barely see them with the light on in here, but so those work. The old indicators and the high beamer, red light in the middle. So that's all sorted. They actually do dim if you turn the knob, so you can see they dim there. So that's all working. Cool. So dash lights are all sorted. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check out the Instagram page at RustyBobs204, and yeah, like the video, add some comments down below if you like, and hey, one step closer on the journey to getting this Rambler complied here in NZ and on the road.